a 27-4 clocking in Kitchener on June the 25th. But he'll be challenged by the likes of Charles Allen of Brantford, Ontario, just 18 years of age, and the man who won the 400-meter title. Another young star is 20-year-old Okiki Akinremi of North York. And there's Atlee Mahorn, a clocking of 20.17 at the World Championships in Tokyo in 1991. Peter Ogilvie, who ran 20.76 earlier this year, he's from Coquitlam, is in lane 4. O'Brien Givens, 25 years of age, is running in lane 5. He was under 21 seconds earlier this year. Dave Tomlin, just 19 years of age, from Kitchener-Waterloo, is in lane 6. Juana Smith, 20 years old, representing the Etobicoke Huskies, is in 7. And Ricardo Greenidge, who had a 21.37 clocking earlier this year, completes the field in lane 8.
In lane 3, Atlee Mahorn, the most versatile and experienced of the Canadian sprinters in this race. 20.17 for his Canadian record in 91 in Tokyo was the best 200 I've ever seen him run. He stayed beautifully relaxed over the last 40 meters, and that made the difference and gained him a bronze medal. He's also the holder at 45.62 of the 400 meters record, and he's a great cricket lover. He would probably prefer to be playing cricket than running 200 meters. It's certainly easier.
Mahorn has participated in 3 previous World Championships: Rome in 87, Tokyo 91, Stuttgart 93. Away very quickly is Peter Ogilvie. He got an excellent start. Atlee Mahorn more noted for his finishing drive, and he has to make up some ground on Peter Ogilvie, the man running to his right. Peter Ogilvie off the turn has the lead, but now here comes the powerful Atlee Mahorn striding towards the finish line, pulling away from Peter Ogilvie, and he gets there and raises his arm in celebration. And so Atlee Mahorn has regained his Canadian championship from the injured Robert Esme. The Canadian record holder, Canadian champion over 200 meters for 1995. Peter Ogilvie disappointed. Coming off the turn, he had the lead, but couldn't hold off the hard-charging Mahorn.
Certainly ran the turn better than Atlee Mahorn, but coming off the turn, Atlee Mahorn drew level, and now the longer striding, rangier and relaxed Atlee Mahorn has that half-meter edge on a tightening Ogilvie. And strong running by Dave Tomlin in lane 6. And here we see the frontal view. Peter Ogilvie beginning to tie a little bit, the faster cadence of the two on the right of the picture. The long striding, rangy Atlee Mahorn staying relaxed and coming in, celebrating a little early perhaps, but getting in 20.99.
Atlee Mahorn 29.9, and now he will have to wait to see if he'll be selected to the Canadian team for a 4th World Championship. His time was outside the standard of 28.4. Atlee Mahorn. There is a buzz of anticipation at the Claude Robillard Center as they await the start. Rudy Surin is in 3, Donovan Bailey in 4. These two are expected to duel, but there will be other challenges from Patrick Grant of North York. He's in 1. Derek Sutherland is running in lane 2. Rudy Surin wears number 1. Will he be number 1 at the conclusion of this race? Donovan Bailey has the best time in the world this year, a 9.99 clocking on April the 22nd in Baton Rouge. Dave Tomlin, 19 years of age, is running in lane 5. In lane 6, Peter Ogilvie, who also has designs on leaving Montreal with a ticket to the World Championships in Sweden, is in 6. Okiki Akinremi is running in lane 7, and completing the field in lane 8 is Sheridan Baptiste from the Ottawa Lions.
Very good class field indeed. Bruni Shurin 10.14 in the semi-final. Donovan Bailey in lane 4, 10.06 in the semi-final. Bruni has run 9.92 this year in the New York Games, but this was wind assisted. So much depends upon the start. They will then accelerate for about 70 to 80 meters, and then they must hold their form and stay relaxed so that they lose speed as minimally as possible. They give the appearance that they're running faster at the end, of course, but they are all slowing down from about 70 or 80 meters onwards, depending upon the skill of their acceleration phase.
Both Surin and Bailey noted for their good starts. It appears to be Surin away quickest. Bailey is now running him down. Bailey at the midpoint of this race has the lead. Bailey is there, and the time, unofficially 9.93 for Donovan Bailey. The best time in the world this year, and Donovan Bailey has won the Canadian Championship. He wears bib number 2, but he is clearly number 1 in not only Canadian, but at the moment, world sprinting.
Very fine sprinting indeed by Donovan Bailey as Bruni Surin crouches down, having to accept defeat by his teammate. Both got away to a good start. They're very level in the middle part of the race, but then Bailey showed greater relaxation and rhythm over the final critical 25 meters. There he accepts the acknowledgement and applause of this crowd. Lots of energy, as all winners tend to have, but that a very fine race. Away very evenly, lane 3 Surin, lane 4 Donovan Bailey. Shoulder to shoulder at this point. But now, very, very gradually, Bailey begins to inch ahead, stays relaxed, keeps that range in his arms, and wins by a full meter. A very, very fine run indeed. Now this frontal view, driving away, all power and acceleration. Tremendous contribution from the arms of both of these sprinters. Almost equal striding cadence. They've got long strides. It only took them around 44 strides to cover this 100-meter distance. This is the point where Bailey was forging ahead. He stayed relaxed and held his form, and then acknowledged his victory to the crowd afterwards. And he walks back up the track that he's just run 9.93 on, and welcomes the adulation poured upon him by the crowd. Another view, driving out of those blocks. The pickup phase, the great concentration of driving very hard, each stride striding around 4.5 strides a second. Now the range of Bailey taking him through for a fine win in 9.93. Both athletes under 10 seconds
of his plan have accomplished today.
And here we see great sprinting, the human equivalent of the drag races and the racehorses, but this time not self-destructing.
9:91, the official time for Donovan Bailey. And now times for all runners have been reached. 100 all time, 9.91. A personal...
Didn't move on through.
Well, I think he had a corner on his mind, and he wanted to be the first guy around the corner, but he forgot the rest of the race. Now, Peter's strength is coming home, and the home stretch is very, very good at that. Now, yesterday, unfortunately, he had to race backwards. He was very good in the corner, but very poor in the straight. And it's something, it's an experience. He learned. The next time, he'll look forward to Atlanta, and I guess he'll be better there.
Mike, we're looking...
Oloyemi of Nigeria, who comes into this 9th heat with the best personal time, a clocking of 21.8. Peter Ogilvie, running beside him in lane 5, second in the Canadian Championships, has a personal best of 24.6. For the 22-year-old from Burnaby, he should be able to advance to the quarterfinal round. The top 3 will move on. Oloyemi starts out very well, so does Dexter Brown of St. Vincent, and Peter Ogilvie, coming off the bend, is running in 3rd place. On the outside, Peter Maitland of Wales and Peter Ogilvie battling for a 2nd spot. It is Oloyemi getting up there just ahead of Peter Ogilvie and Peter Maitland. So without any difficulty, as expected, Peter Ogilvie moves on. The winning time, 28.9, a fast opening heat.
Be in short supply by the end of the day today. The sun splitting the Scotch pines and the scaffolding as it pours in to Centennial Stadium. A great look at the conditions and what a day. Room temperature, it says, but I'm not buying that trackside. All in all, with just a light breeze, a beautiful day for a meat lover, a track meat lover, that is. To Victoria. In the weeks ahead. Well, that's just a sample of what's taken place thus far in Victoria. We'll have more as the day moves along, but up next we turn our attention to the men's 100-meter final. As a rule, it's the top 2 and then one other selection onto the Commonwealth Games, but the story gets complicated. We'll tell that one when we come back to Victoria. He was too ill to perform last night in the 100 meters. Bruni's in Montreal with an injury, so it was the top two and maybe Bruni. Now it's the top two, and is it Bruni or Donovan? That's a story they'll have to decide when the committee meets tomorrow evening. In the meantime, great depth in the 100 meters and qualifying that led to these final 8. Here's Don Whitman and Jeff Gowan.
A new champion will be crowned this year. Atlee Mahorn is not participating, and the national and meet record holder, Bruni Surin, is out with an injury. So it's a wide open race, and this is the field. As you look at lanes 1 through 8, based on past performance, Glenroy Gilbert in 5 and Robert Esme in 6 are probably favored to take the 1994 gold medal at the Canadian Championships. Carlton Chambers is running in lane 4, a young man who burst into prominence at the World Junior Championships with a 5th place finish. He had a clocking of 10.30 on July 2nd in Ottawa. He's in lane 4. He's right beside Glenroy Gilbert, who was the gold medalist in 1992 and a 200-meter gold medalist in 1993. He had a 10.15 clocking on June 30th. Glenroy Gilbert running in lane 5. And Robert Esme had the best time in the semifinal, a clocking of 10.20. And it looks as though it will be Glenroy Gilbert in lane 5 and Robert Esme in lane 6, battling for the gold here in Victoria. They're away cleanly, and Robert Esme comes out of the blocks very quickly. Glenroy Gilbert is running well in lane number 5, right beside him as they come to the finish line. And Gilbert and Esme, and that's the way they hit the finish line. Glenroy Gilbert in 10.26, getting there and running down Robert Esme over the final 20 meters. Esme had the lead coming out of the blocks, but Glenroy Gilbert, the 1992 champion, came through with a burst over the final few meters to catch Robert Esme at the finish line.
In 6, in the middle part of the race, running in lane 4, Carlton Chambers, the World Junior finalist, moving well. But now the strength, the superior strength of the 200-meter runner, Glenroy Gilbert, shows, and he moves away 3/4 of a meter ahead of Esme, and I think Carlton Chambers, the junior, in 3rd. Watch this from the front. Good start by Esme. Nice pickup. You can see the rather wayward arms of Glenroy Gilbert, but now he's getting into the middle part of the race. Esme still ahead. There we see Carlton Chambers on the right of the picture, but now the power and strength of Glenroy Gilbert begins to tell in this last 30 meters, and he's moving away from Esme now to take victory from Esme, and I think Chambers in 3rd. The frontal view, the tremendous drive from those blocks, the acceleration over the first 50 meters of this race. These mighty arms contributing to this sprinting acceleration. Esme on the left, Glenroy Gilbert in the middle of the picture. Neck for neck at the moment. Now coming into the last 30 meters of the race, when the superior speed endurance of the 200-meter runner begins to tell over the 100-meter sprinter, typified by Robert Esme. And at the dip in, it's Glenroy Gilbert for the champion.
Congratulations. You see Glenroy Gilbert winning semi number 2. Now, here's Jeff Gowan, trackside.
Record holder Atlee Mahorn. He established the standard of 21.7 back in 1991. We're informed that Glenroy Gilbert, the 100-meter gold medalist, has a hamstring problem and as a result has withdrawn from the 200-meter final. So this is the field for the men's 200-meter final, lanes 1 through 8 with lane 4 empty. Dave Tomlin of Kitchener-Waterloo is running in lane 1. In lane 2, the gold medalist in the Canadian Junior Championships, Eric Frempong Manso of the Etobicoke Huskies. Robert Esme, who was the 100-meter silver medalist, is running in lane 3. He had the best time in the semifinals, a clocking of 20.70. As we mentioned, Glenroy Gilbert with the hamstring problem has scratched, so lane 4 is empty. O'Brien Gibbons of the Phoenix Track Club is running in lane 5. In the heats, he had a time of 21:01. Peter Ogilvie, who was 5th over 100 meters, ran a strong 2nd to Glenroy Gilbert in the semifinal of the 200 meters. He's in lane 6. Ricardo Greenidge, a bronze medalist last year, 4th over 100 meters, is running in lane 7. And completing the field in lane 8 is Glenn Smith.
Interesting to comment briefly about Glenroy Gilbert. I thought he looked a little tight coming down the straightaway in his semi-final, and with 3 weeks to go to the Commonwealth Games, it's very wise that if he has the slightest doubt, he should withdraw. It's not worth sacrificing the Commonwealth Games for a fully pulled hamstring by trying to run the final. Robert Esme in lane 3 must now be one of the very strong favourites, along with perhaps Peter Ogilvie in 6 and Ricardo Greenidge in 7, who has concentrated very much on the 200 in 1994 and must have been a little disappointed in his semi-final running. He has a chance to make amends now. He's nicely placed in lane 7, a nice easy curve to run. But Robert Esme looked very impressive in running 20.7 with a 1.4 meters a second following wind in the semi-final. So we're all set for the 200.
Ricardo Greenidge has the best time of any of the competitors in this final, a clocking of 26.1 back in the 19th of May. But as I mentioned earlier, the best time in the semifinals belonged to Robert Esme, running in lane 3 of 20.70 time. And they're going to have to call them back to the starting blocks, so let's reset the field for you. It's Dave Tomlin, Eric Frempong Manso, Robert Esme, O'Brien Gibbons, Peter Ogilvie, Ricardo Greenidge, and Glenn Smith.
And that was not a false start. The starter clearly was not satisfied with something. Perhaps someone didn't have his hands behind the starting line, or they weren't fully settled, and he decided rather than keep the rest of the field waiting, he would stand them up in order that they could relax. And so there we see 409. O'Brien Gibbons occupying lane 5. Lane 6, Peter Ogilvie, who will run the turn very well. Watch for him to be well placed coming off the turn. And lane 7, the best time in Canada this year, Ricardo Greenidge.
Very good starter. They're going to be recalled again, and this time it appeared as though there was a false start. The previous recall was at the starter problems with the starting blocks and the electronic controls that are attached to them. But the false start was charged against Robert Esme in lane 3. And this time they are away cleanly. Robert Esme just a little more cautious than usual coming out of the blocks, but now he has it in gear as he comes through the turn. Ricardo Greenidge on the outside and Peter Ogilvie trying to challenge, but it is Robert Esme with the lead. Peter Ogilvie trying to come at him as they race over the final few meters. Robert Esme is going to hang on, and he wins in 20.84. He served notice with his semifinal victory in a time of 20.70 that he was fit and ready for this 200-meter final, and he cruises to victory in a time of 20.84. Not at all discouraged by the false start that may have hindered him somewhat coming out of the blocks. He gets a clocking of 28.4 to win the gold.
On the turn in lane 3 by Robert Esme, comes into the straightaway well ahead of the rest of the field, and as we said in the trackside, he must now focus on that lane, keep that relaxation and range and rhythm going, and this he does very well indeed. A nice run, good strong finish up the final 100 meters by Peter Ogilvie to claim second place, and third's a very close one. It may be lane 7, Ricardo Greenidge. It may be lane 8. Here we see Esme having run the turn very well, kept close to the line and thereby saved distance and time. Nice relaxation in the arms and upper body, running very rhythmically and smooth, concentrating on his own lane and winning the Canadian Championship at 200 meters, signaling 5 meters out that he is the champion.
Yes, Robert Esme.
Peter in front. Peter is holding on to a nice lead. The lead is second. Peter is holding. Go, Peter! Go, Peter! Oh, yes! Look at that run!
Last call for the grade 4 girls relay. Section B in the stands.
Very disappointed disappointed that Sudbury kid is not competing today. Well, you know the result of that, don't you? That's what he was worried about. That's why he didn't stop. Okay, we'll keep the time. Oh, gee, well, how am I going to time this now? We'll use a lap time. You hit the lap and you'll see what time we're through. I'll just time Peter. Short is in there. Short is in there coming in. Very good.
On their mark. Set. You're off. It's off to a good start, making up some ground now. There goes Peter on the inside there.
This is the final call.
Good run, Peter. He's in the lead now.
25, 26.
Good run. Looking good, Jim. But he's being pursued, but looking good in front. Challenge, but Peter seems to be hanging on. He's hanging on, he hangs on to win it.
54.89.
54.89, good time. Peter.
I don't know, he went too early.
The midget boys 200-meter heat 1.
Stand up, gentlemen, please stand up.
They're on their mark.
Go, Peter! Go, Peter!
Results of the senior women's 800 meters.
Yeah, okay, I'll just move in a sec as soon as I get this done, all right?
Watching.
For the 4x100 meter boys relay here at the East Kootenai Community College track at Cranbrook, the site of the BC Summer Games. Lane 1 is zone 6. In lane 2 is zone 4. In lane 3 is zone 5, followed by zone 8, zone 7, zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3. And exchange could be a key factor in this one. I don't think they've had a great deal of time to practice for an event like this, Greg.
No, they haven't. They just got together within 2 days ago, and that doesn't give you enough time to really work on the exchange, which is very important in the relay.
So Harday Flail, who did well individually in competition, is number 395 from zone 6. And representing zone 3, Ron Amott, or David Kim, is 113. David Granville, Corey Cummings. And they're underway now. This is the 4x100 boys relay, and they're off to a real good start.
The exchange of the baton must take place within the zone of 20 meters.
Benji Robinson in zone 5, along with Luke Meyer, Tom Liu, and Neil Austin. Good exchange there. The 4x100 boys relay.
Here they come, coming off the turn. Lane 2 looking very strong, very strong. Oh, he's getting a challenge by lane 1. Oh, it's a close one.
Lanes 1 and 2, zone 6 and 4, and zone 6. Pat Rochelot, Aaron Sawicki, and John Rankin. Boy, did they have an exciting finish there. John Rankin, number 96.
You can see the runner in lane 1 just starting to turn over really well now. He's coming up on lane 2. Very close race. Boy, too close to call right now, Bernie.
Well, John Rankin on that inside track in lane 1 might have just got to the line first, but as you suggest, Greg, it is rather difficult to to pick the winner, but it was definitely lanes 1 and 2, zone 6 and zone 4 battling it out in the 4x100 boys relay. We'll be back with more live coverage.
You had a great opening. This is the Delta team. Zane, yeah, you were the opening guy, weren't you?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Dennis Lim. Dave Zimlock. Cliff Jacob. Peter Ogilvie.
Okay, you ran the anchor, right?
Yeah.
How do you think you did?
It's close, that's all I can say.
You don't know yet, do you? Okay, this is the island team, Central Coast. Where are you guys from?
Courtney.
Courtney? All right, and you are?
Aaron Sawicki. John Rankin. Hardy Blale. Pat Roshlow.
Who was running the anchor here? Was it you ran the anchor? How do you think you did?
I don't know, it's pretty close.
You were coming from behind. You think you got him?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so? Larry, do it. All right, here's the photo finish right here. I don't know if we have the videotape replay, but there's the official timers doing their thing right here. Have we got it on tape? I don't know if we do or not to see. Here we are here. Here we are. All right. Look at these guys leaning over, looking at this. You want to call this? You're trying to catch him, right?
Yeah.
What's happened here? You going to get him?
I don't think so. Well, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. No. You're in the lead now. You're in the lead. You think you held him off?
Here we go. Oh!
Do you think you held him off or not?
I can't tell.
Well, you better shake his hand because he caught you. That's the winners, guys. Congratulations over here. Vancouver Island Central Coast Zone. You get a gold medal for Zone 1 or Zone 6.
Final, and keep an eye on lanes 3, 4, and 5. Peter Ogilvie of Burnaby, number 134. From Prince George, Chris Johansson, number 187. And in lane 5 from Victoria, Harday Blale. BC Games record 23.3. And Greg, that could be challenged today.
Definitely, with Harday Blale running at 23.76 in those terrible conditions yesterday. We should anticipate a really good race.
Other members of this field, Al Rivas of Prince George, Kenton Fuller in lane 2 from West Vancouver, Kevin Mohammed from Vancouver in lane 6, David Zemlak of Delta in lane 7, and Jared Nievenhuis of Coquitlam in lane 8. There they go. Peter Ogilvie of Burnaby in lane 3, Chris Johansson of Prince George in lane 4, Harday Blale of Victoria in lane 5. Now Ogilvie of Burnaby, Johansson of Prince George.
And you can see Harday Blale and Peter Ogilvie.
Blale. Oh, a three-man finish.
Oh.
Very close. Ogilvie right up there with Harday Blale of Victoria.
And Al Rivas from Prince George. Here we see Harday Blale and Peter running pretty well neck to neck. Coming to the finish line. Oh, boy, it's going to be close to call. I think we're going to have to wait for the photo finish.
The only thing for sure is Al Rivas of Prince George was third.
That's right.
We've had many competitive events here at the track and field competition. No doubt this will be an exciting finale. The boys 100 meters. Cliff Acob of Richmond in lane 1. In lane 2 from Prince George, Al Rivas. In lane 3 from Burnaby, Peter Ogilvie. In lane 4, and keep an eye on him, Harday Blale of Victoria. In lane 5 from North Vancouver, Jeff Jollymore. Chris Isobe from Vernon in lane 6. Jared Nievenhuis of Coquitlam in lane 7. Kenton Fuller of West Vancouver in lane 8. The game's record an even 11 seconds, Greg.
Held by David Hood, 1982 from Richmond.
Best time in the qualifying heats here, Blale of Victoria, 11.73, and they have a bit of a crosswind.
Definitely. The record might go, but I'm afraid it's going to be a win-aided time. It's just too much of a gusty wind here today.
So Greg will keep an eye on lane 2. Al Rivas of Prince George, Peter Ogilvie of Burnaby in lane 3. Kenton Fuller in lane 8 of West Vancouver. Lane 4, though, Harday Blale of Victoria. Lane 3 is Peter Ogilvie. Ogilvie finishes first, a strong finish. Peter Ogilvie, number 134 of Burnaby. And did he turn on the speed?
You can see him coming on that last 50 meters, just powering with his arms and legs.
Pulling away, Peter Ogilvie of Burnaby finishes first. An exciting finale to the boys' 100-meter event.
final. In lane 1, number 32, Sean Laturnus from Kimberley. In lane 2, 201, Ron Auckland from Victoria. In lane 3, 138, Troy Stickley, North Delta. Lane 4, 141, Peter Ogilvie of Burnaby. And in lane 5, 162, Thomas Sajonki from West Vancouver. Lane 6, 299, Peter Burns, Prince George. And in 7, 163, Andrew Laxton, Garibaldi Highlands. And in lane 8, 241, David Giesbrecht of Houston. And Bernie, the strength basically is in the middle of the pack in those middle lanes.
Right, Bill. Looks like lane 4, Peter Ogilvie of Burnaby will be the odds-on favorite this time. Thomas Ojonki of West Vancouver and Troy Stickley of North Delta.
And we got a fair start, and here we go with Peter Ogilvie, and there is no doubt in this race who's going to take first, but who's going to get second and third. It looks like West Vancouver and North Delta, I would call it that way, Bernie, but we're going to have to look at the replay for that one.
Well, Thomas Ojonki of West Vancouver, number 162, was right up there as well with Troy Stickley.
Okay, and here we see them off to a fair start, and Peter Ogilvie, who has run 10.9 seconds, has really done a good job here and is just powering down the track, and we see the strength in this sprinter. He is one of the stars of the future for British Columbia, and there we see him winning by about 7 meters. And as you said, Bernie, Thomas Sajonki was second, and in third place it looked like Troy Stickley of North Delta.
A lot of determination and a decisive win by number 141, Peter Ogilvie.
Hopes to add the 200 and possibly the 400-meter titles to the 100 he won last year. He's receiving added instruction at Simon Fraser, which should help improve his times, and he's begun to set goals for himself.
Make the junior team, go make the senior team, break the world record after that. Do well, win Olympic gold.
Are those legitimate goals of yours?
Well, they're
a long way away.
Long-range goals.
He has a potential to be a Canadian, top Canadian in the future.
Of course, if you're a top Canadian these days, you could be the fastest man in the world.
Well, you could be another Ben Johnson, and I certainly think he has the talent to do that.
The athletic guards heap is littered with scores of athletes with wasted potential, but it appears Peter has the motivation necessary to keep on improving as his times just keep on getting better.
National mark's pretty hard. 10-4. It's a couple years down the road, maybe in grade 12. I want to break the high school record this year, 10-7. I think I could do it. It's all in my head.
In lane 2, Brad McPeak from Delta. In 3, Andrew Laxton, Garibaldi Highlands. In 4, the favorite, Peter Ogilvie, Burnaby. 5, Thomas Sajonki, West Vancouver. 6, Ron Auckland, Victoria. 7, Peter Burns, Prince George. And 8, Kirk Summers from Langley. The field in the 200, Bernie, and maybe a record here.
And Bill, as you mentioned, Peter Ogilvie's already won 3 gold medals here at the BC Summer Games. Thomas Ojonki of West Vancouver is in lane 5. Keep an eye on him. And also Alex Laxton in lane number 3. A very competitive field, and they're off.
And Ogilvie will be going after 22.97, the record he set last year, and he's already going for it. We see him in command right off the bat after the first less than 100 meters, and he's going to come off the turn in first place. And look at the determination on 141. Peter Ogilvie of Burnaby, and we'll be looking for a record. And Thomas Sajonki coming up, 162, and his teammate Andrew Laxton, 163. Looked like he took the bronze medal, Bernie.
But Peter Ogilvie, Bill, as you mentioned, very strong. Peter from Burnaby, a student going into grade 10 at St. Thomas More in Burnaby, and just he really turns it on here.
And he comes off with less than 80 meters to go. It's Peter Ogilvie just pounding down there. See the strength in that young man and the determination, and he's done very well coming across the finish line in unofficially 22.3 seconds, which would knock almost 6/10 off his record, Burnaby, that he set last year.
This new modern synthetic track at the Delta Senior Secondary.
And here are the lane assignments for the 4x100 men. In lane 1, zone 6. In lane 2, zone 4. In lane 3, zone 5. In lane 4, zone 8. In 5, zone 7. In 6, zone 1.
In Swangard Stadium. British Columbia boasts some exceptional track and field athletes, including one local youngster touted to be a potential star.
100 meters men's final. In lane 1, competitor 1868, San Kern Palmville from Vancouver College. In 2, 1370, Thomas Sajonki from West Vancouver. In 3, 15:34, Larry Small from Centennial. In 4, 14:76, Rich Pickard from SMU. In 5, 15:38, John Pierre from DW Poppy. In 6, 18:61, Peter Ogilvie from St. Thomas More. In 7, 12:04, Andy Johnson, Burnaby Central. And in lane 8, 12:02, Mike Karanko, Burnaby Central.
Well, we'll keep an eye on Pierre in lane 5 and Larry Small in lane 3. What a busy day for him as we look at the record. Dukowski Vancouver College in 72. It's Centennial's graduation today, and Larry Small, a student at Centennial, will have this 100-meter event. Then he's got to rush home and get his tuxedo, head down to the Hyatt for Centennial graduation, and some of the Centennial students here offering their support. Graham, Jason, Brad, and the race is underway.
And Peter Ogilvie in lane 6 we should watch, and it's going to be Peter Ogilvie. Peter Ogilvie, John Pierre, DW Poppy, and it's going to be Peter Ogilvie, John Pierre, and Larry Small. And that's the way we predicted it, and that's the way it came out, Bernie.
So 1861, Peter Ogilvie. We had that interesting feature on Peter a few moments ago in our coverage from Swangard Stadium, and he holds true to form with an outstanding performance. Peter Ogilvie with Joanne Pierre from DW Poppy and Larry Small of Centennial. They're the trio leading the way in the men's 100 meters, but Peter Ogilvie in lane 6, number 1861, and this finale here will tie the BC high school provincial record. And look at Peter in lane 6, reach out, and he wins the gold medal. Peter from St. Thomas More. Pierre second, Larry Small of Centennial finishing in third spot. Peter Ogilvie is with John.
Congratulations to you, Peter.
Thanks.
Yeah, were you confident going in?
I was a bit weary. Competition was there.
Right.
Yeah, but getting into the race, I felt pretty good.
It's not exactly optimum conditions here today, is it?
It's not that great.
No, it could be a little warmer.
Yeah, it could.
What do you think you might have run?
I don't know.
What's a personal best?
Anything under 10.8.
Well, you're 10.7 and you tied the record.
Okay, thanks.
All right, but that's not the only special news I have for you today. Turn to your left. I'd like you to meet Mr. Harold Wright, the past president of the Canadian Olympic Association. And we have a rather prestigious award for you to garner here in a moment, and to explain what it is. It's an anniversary of sorts, and Harold, perhaps you could elaborate.
Well, this is the 60th anniversary of Percy Williams winning the 100 and 200 meters in Amsterdam. And so 60 years ago, maybe this week or next week, he ran in the high school championship meet in Vancouver and went from there to Hamilton, Ontario to try to get on the Olympic team at the Canadian Olympic Trials. I think it was in Hamilton, yeah. And I happened to go from Regina as a kid. And he went on to Amsterdam and I went home. So I hope you're going to duplicate Williams.
You know who Percy Williams is, I hope.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
And not only that, there's something more tangibly involved here, Harold, on your left.
Yeah.
It's, bring it in here, gentlemen. Here, pass it in here. Come on.
This is the new trophy presented to this association for the championship in the 100 meters to commemorate Percy Williams' victory in Amsterdam in July 60 years ago. He won the 100 and the 200 meters on a dirt track using a garden trowel to dig holes and heavier shoes than you've got on.
Yeah, turn it around, guys. Let the camera have a look at it. And Harold used to run against him, by the way, so if you keep in shape like Harold, you're going to look like that in 50 years or so.
Uh-oh.
Peter, I will ask you your aspirations in that. I would certainly think you'd like to get to the games in the near future.
Wouldn't mind at all. Wouldn't mind at all.
Go to Seoul, Korea, eh?
Even though St. Thomas More must be...
Hmm?
Oh, yeah.
16.
Oh, well, you could make it, but a little young.
A little.
Yeah. You have how many years to go at St. Thomas More?
2 more.
2 more to go, and have you got any aspirations down the road, or is it a little bit premature?
We'll find out what happens. I don't know.
Right.
Anything could happen.
Your reaction to this award?
It's nice.
It's a surprise,
It's
isn't
new.
it?
It's new.
Really beautiful, yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
Harold, thank you very much for being here. Peter, congratulations for the award, for tying the record at 10.7, for, of course, winning the 100.
Okay, thank you.
And try for the
Peter Ogilvie of St. Thomas More.
Thank you, John, and our thanks to Harold Wright for helping us out here this afternoon. Peter Ogilvie then wins the gold from St. Thomas More. 21 points.
The middle route come across.